Are you ready to create something amazing? Welcome to Sneller Creative Promotions, custom promotional packaging and unique marketing materials, making your business memorable. This is Sneller Creative Promotions.
Welcome to Create Something Amazing with Jeff Snell from Sneller Creative Promotions. How's it going today, Jeff?
Doing great, Brendan. How are you?
I'm as good as I can be, still during the strangest year of my entire life. But, you know, at least
Well said, man.
at least we're half over now. So at least 2020 is half over. Let's hope the second half is not near as crazy as the first half.
Agreed, man. Things seem to be picking up on my end, and it sounds like you're busier than ever. So hopefully, since our last episode, things are on the right track.
Excellent. So things are picking up. What kind of new fun things have you got going on?
All kinds of great things, man. It's just the momentum from our last conversation. And, you know, last time we were talking about work from home kits and sanitizer and face masks and logo products, like always, all of which are super important and critical to me. But now companies seem to be back to doing a lot of mailing, direct mailings, dimensional things, boxes, kits, you know, kind of reintroducing themselves, getting back out there. It spans everything from boxes to binders, printing, signage. I mean, I'm doing it all and so grateful for all of it. It's, of course, I'll always take more, but the change in direction, getting back to the core of what I'm great at is so personally rewarding. I'm super grateful.
And, you know, again, the stuff that you do is so far above and beyond what, you know, the normal cookie cutter stuff that's out there is. I mean, you really take the time to, you know, as you say, problem solve. It's creativity, but you consider it a problem solving thing. Like, how do we take this idea and bring it to fruition, and how do we make it even better than what they want?
You always do such a nice job of summarizing what I'm good at, but perhaps can't say as nicely as you. So thank you. Yeah, I mean, just a quick example of a couple of things I'm working on now. So one of my customers produces antennas, and antennas are big as far as replacing cable TV. Everybody's trying to get rid of cable TV. And whether it's a streaming service or an antenna, basically looking for ways to reduce costs. So they're one of the biggest, if not the biggest in the country. But anyway, they came to me with a new program for a major retailer for some signage. And this is something that you won't necessarily see on my website, but a great example of things of how I can solve people's marketing situations, dilemmas, problems. So anyway, they need some plastic signs. Sounds simple enough, but these plastic signs need to be mounted on metal racks at retail. So think of kind of a warehouse, a Sam's Club or a Costco or a Best Buy, that kind of thing. So I'm going to make this quick because this is not one of my sexiest projects, but really important. So they need plastic signs that mount with magnets. They need to be mailed. They need to be personalized for each retail location. And it all needs to be a seamless, easy transaction. So that sounds easy enough. But for me, I actually have 5 different vendors involved. Print the plastic signs, buy the magnets, print the mailing labels, find and utilize our warehouse and fulfillment service to assemble all of these kits, and then drop ship to all the different addresses. So that's just one example of the complexity. And to my customer, they place one purchase order, but for me, I'm dealing with all kinds of different vendors to make this thing happen. And in the end, the retailer is going to get these gorgeous signs that easily come out of the box and get mounted, and nobody thinks much about it. But that's a great example of the kinds of stuff that when business is good, we do 1,000 orders like that a month, and they kind of were on hold for a while. So that's one thing. Another really cool project that I just completed is, and this is again a great example of how the economy is coming back. So one of my, you know, I've built my whole career, which sounds kind of funny, but the foundation of my career is ring binders, like we talked about in episode 1, 3 ring binders, notebooks, but not the boring, ugly stuff that you buy at Office Depot or that we used as kids. The things that I do may be produced in low quantity and exotic materials and custom decorated with beautiful print techniques. But this, I do a lot of proposal binders. So when architecture companies, construction firms, when they are pitching a major construction project, you know, it's a courthouse or a new office building or a warehouse. It doesn't matter what it is. These buildings cost millions and millions of dollars, and they're super complex. But before all of that even starts, the companies that want to produce those buildings receive bids from these architecture firms, construction firms, and these bids need to look really cool. As you can imagine, they're $1 million projects. So how do they, if you just presented, and they wouldn't, but you just presented your major construction plan in a 8.5 by 11 laser printed stapled piece of paper, they're not going to get very far with it. So oftentimes the binders that I produce, they're placed in binders, but they need to have some really cool sex appeal to them. So this project that I just completed utilizes, and a lot of them utilize aluminum or metal, because as you can think of building as big, heavy, industrial, steel, shiny. So anyway, these are metal binders with a clear acrylic front cover, and acrylic is heavy duty, thick plastic. And we then screen printed the image of the binder to the clear cover. So not only do you have some 3D effect, and you sort of see the ghosting of the silhouette of the building through the acrylic, but then the customer, the construction firm, their printing will show through that clear cover, and they're going to mirror that image of the building through that front cover, so you get a real 3D wow effect. And then it's a whole series of binders. So this proposal has drawings, and it's got the branding and the marketing, and as a whole, it's a set of binders that we just produced. And we did them in, like, these binders should take a month to produce, and we did them in like 3 days. So that's just a couple of things that I'm working on right now. And then as we get into it, I'll talk about a few historical products that I think are cool.
That's very cool. I mean, again, it's one of those things where how do you take something simple and make it sexy? Everything from soybeans to binders, you turn it up a notch, you make it cool, you make it, not just presentable, but you make it memorable. You know what I mean? That's the really cool part of all the things that you do. Would it be possible to do, like, if you have a construction company like that's trying to do a building, could you do a binder that had like a pop-up, so when you open it up, it has the pop-up of what the building might look like?
Dude, that is so cool. I can't believe how you read my mind, and we're not even looking at each other face to face. We're still working remotely. So let me tell you real quickly. So one of my most successful products I've ever done, I did last summer. It was for an accounting firm. So you want to talk about, again, soybeans, accountants. I mean, all these things are important, but not necessarily something that would grab your attention. So they asked me to produce a marketing piece for them last year, and they're trying to evoke happy thoughts. And, again, the whole idea for, especially around tax time, but accountants, taxes, numbers, headaches, what do you think of when you think of, at least me? I mean, I guess if you're a numbers person, you love that stuff, but most people probably don't enjoy dealing with numbers, and brings back bad memories of school, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, they came to me and said, we really need to try to loosen up our customer base and show them how utilizing our accounting software makes their lives easier. And so they're like, what would you do to try to evoke calm and peace and happy? And I said, you know what everybody loves is a campfire. Think of summer vacations, campfires, s'mores. All right, a s'more. What if you're making a s'more? I guarantee you there isn't a person in a bad mood cooking out a marshmallow over a campfire making a s'more.
Oh, yeah.
Crackers, the chocolate, the marshmallows. I mean, who makes a s'more and is in a bad mood? Nobody. Even if you've never, in fact, the funny thing is my customer said, she was from California. She's like, I've never even had a s'more before. I said, all right, first of all, you've got to correct that right away. There cannot possibly be a person on this planet who's never had a s'more. But second of all, try one, because once you have one, I guarantee you, even it doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the day in January or you make it in your microwave, you're going to be in a good mood when you put that thing in your mouth. Anyway, so this s'mores kit, I get 1 million views a month on my Pinterest account for this s'mores kit. We did a video of it opening up, and this is a long answer to your question, but this box pops out the campfire. You open the lid of the box, and as you slowly open the lid of this box, a campfire blossoms, blooms, pops up in your face. And then as you continue to lift the lid, it reveals the contents underneath or inside the box, which was everything you need to make a s'more. So you've got the marshmallows, the grahams, and the chocolate. super, super, super cool kit, amazing success. Not only for the most important thing is the customer who utilizes these as a prospecting piece, trying to grab attention of their ideal target base. But anyway, for me also on my social media, it's just been amazing. So anyway, this s'mores kit has generated more quotes and interest in my pop-up abilities, like you said. So I don't care if it pops out of a box or a 3-ring binder or a folder. And we utilize interesting die cuts and different materials. The answer to your question is yes, it can be done. I have done it. And so anyway, I'm working on I've done probably 10 quotes since that s'mores box, just because everybody loves it. Right now, I had a customer contact me looking for a celebration. Actually, there was a couple things, but this one is a celebration theme. So their box, which we're producing right now, will pop up into like a party hat, and streamers will kind of pop up at you as you open the box.
Cool.
Financial company celebrating a major milestone after 5 years, and it's all big numbers, big money, blah, blah, blah. It's got to be cool. So that one we're going to upgrade into more of a handmade, using different materials. Really, really cool. Earlier in the year, we were doing something for cans where they wanted mountains to pop out of the background. So yeah, pop-ups are cool and big, and something we do all the time.
That's great. I mean, that creativity, the s'mores kit, that's something those people will remember. And, again, I love the fact that, your marketing and the way you do things is like you say, it's a gift. It's a gift all around. It's not just like a box that says, Joe's Moving Company.
Yeah.
There's something about it that makes it different, that makes it to that next level. And it always amazes me how you do those, just the little simple touches that you do that just tweak it and turn it up a level. That's really one of the cool things that I love about all of the things that you do. And when I look at your website, and I can see, like, when you send out your email blasts, I'll see the different things that you've got going, everything, from, the cool little toys in the office, or to some of these cool packagings that you've done. They're just really, really neat and super memorable. And that's the part that just, it always blows me away, how cool that stuff is. So, kudos to you for that.
Thanks, man. As we said in episode 2, I mean, that's really what you're getting when you deal with Sneller. As a human being, you're getting me. Hopefully you want it. Maybe some people don't, but you're getting my entire career, all of my marketing knowledge, every previous project that I've done, all of my vendors, resources, expertise. There's a lot there, and not everybody wants that. Some people want to go, as you said, go push a button and put Joe's Moving on something, and they're going to get what they pay for. But if they have a vision, a little bit of time, they're willing to invest in the dialogue, then together, my customers and I can create some really neat things that neither one of us could have properly anticipated until we got deeper into it. So all of these solutions are not necessarily my ideas. They're really a collaboration. And that's the fun thing for each of us, my customers and me, as we go through them. And then they become, I don't know if I've ever said this out loud, but what I'm selling is a piece of me. Every order has a piece of me in it. And that's why I take such pride in these stories and these visual reminders, these samples, because I've given a part of myself in every one of these things. And so I am very emotionally, personally attached to every single solution that I create. In fact, I had a graphic design, somebody that maybe I mentioned this before, but one of my customers came into my showroom one day, and he was trying to shock me. Really creative, brilliantly creative individual, but he was trying to basically take me out of my comfort zone. And he looked around my showroom, and I was so proud of everything in there. I mean, all of these samples were just gorgeous and amazing solutions. And he looked at them, he said, "Jeff, everything in here sucks." I said, "What? What the heck are you talking about?" He said, "You could have been so much more creative. You could have pushed the boundaries." I said, "You know what? You've got to understand something. Every one of these solutions perfectly solved my customer's needs. So while you may find some of these things underwhelming, every single person was absolutely thrilled. That met a price point, a delivery date. It accomplished whatever their objective was. It was a perfect solution." And he laughed. He said, "Oh, you got to calm down. I'm just trying to get you thinking," which he did. But I've never forgotten that conversation. And anyway, that's what's kind of fun is perfectly nailing. Every project is driven by something different, and oftentimes my customers don't know what that is. It's got to be there by Friday, or we only have $10 a unit to spend, or it's got to be super cool, or it's got to be delivered to the mail or handed out at a trade show. There's always something that becomes the most critical factor. And through the dialogue, as we said, the conversation that we have and our expertise, I'm really good at tracking down what that most important thing is, and then trying to add in all their other wish list items. But there's always something that drives it.
Have you ever walked in, like I know one of the things that makes you most proud is that people hang on to the stuff that you do. It's not something anybody throws away. Have you ever walked into a client who maybe has been given one of your items and you see it there in their office?
All the time, Brennan. And like I say, that is really the reward for me. So I do a lot of work with auto dealerships, plate frames, the license plates. When you're looking at a dealership and they say Jim Trineri or Indy Motorsports or whatever the dealership's name is, when I see those either driving down the road or on the dealership lot, or the plate frames, the little plastic frames that go around the license plate, or the stickers in the back of the car that say Shanahan Creative. I mean, when I see my printing marketing materials out in society, that gives me a major buzz. Or yes, on the retail shelves in the grocery store or the liquor store, or t-shirts that I produce. I was at the zoo last summer with my daughter, and I see a guy wearing a t-shirt that I did a couple years ago for one of the major organizations here in town. And that's the kind of thing that is just so rewarding for me, is to see things that I've touched out there, people utilizing them, enjoying them, not even giving a second thought, maybe in some cases, to them. But when I know that I produced that, it definitely makes me feel special, for sure.
Oh my God, absolutely. So quite a few years ago, when the Austin Powers movies came out, I was hired to do the voices for this Austin Powers talking watch. And I remember this was back when, video stores were still around. So I was working nights at the time at a radio station, but I'd always done like voice work and, cartoon characters and video game voice work on the side. So I'm literally looking at movies, and right behind me, there's a mother and a son, and I can hear the son playing the watch. And he's hitting the buttons, and he's like, 11:32 a.m. Yeah, baby. Yeah. And I'm just like, wow, how do you turn around and go, hey, that's me?
That's wild, man.
You don't do that, but it's like, that's pretty cool, so, and then, I have that same sort of feeling too. Like, my kids hate it because, in the St. Louis area, you almost can't turn on the radio, or couldn't for the last 20 plus years, without hearing me about every 5 or 7 minutes coming around, because I did so many commercials and everything, and there'd be times where they're just like, oh my God, I don't want to hear them anymore.
That's so cool though. But when your kids can, because so many parents' jobs are, their kids can't relate to, but in each of our cases, our kids, there's something tangible. They can hear you, they can see you, they can see my products. And so it's not just a dumb old dad telling a silly story. And I think that's really has super meaning. So real quickly, one of my old case studies I want to mention was talking about kids and making an impact. So a number of years ago, there was a cartoon called the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls, where, I don't know if you remember them, but
absolutely,
these cute little girls that I think they were crime fighters, and they had these big, it was like an anime thing, big eyes.
The great big eyes, yeah.
They fly around. So anyway, it was just the show when my oldest daughter was little. And anyway, Dad being me, got to produce these marketing kits. So the Powerpuff Girl brand was marketing a line of clothing and bath accessories and things to Bed Bath & Beyond and other retailers. And they needed a product launch kit, which I do so many product launch kits for anything you can imagine. But the Powerpuff Girls was fun, and it needed to be neat. So being clothing and closet and bath related, my customer said, what would you do, Jeff? I said, well, let's make a box that looks like a closet, and we'll have the literature die cut in the shape of a hanger and clothing, and we'll have it hang from a closet rod. So when you open this box, you'll see your literature literally will be die cut clothing hanging in there. But not only that, but this thing had to be fun. So again, Powerpuff Girls was a fun, feminine product line. So we made it out of plastic, and we can custom PMS match or custom match colors in this plastic. So it's a custom pink box, screen printed with all of the fun graphics. It had a bubble logo, a dome decal or a bubble logo on the surface. And again, when you open up this Velcro flat box, we used an aluminum screw post as the closet rod, and all of the literature again was die cut hanging from the rod. And then there's a separate little box on the inside bottom that held more collateral or printing. Really, really cute piece. And anyway, when my daughter saw that, she was probably 4 at the time. She was just blown away by how cool her dad was, that he was making this kit for like her TV, celebrity. I don't want to say heroes, but I mean, it was a connection that she still remembers to this day. So even the other day, I sent her a picture of this at college. I said, "Do you remember this?" She's like, "Oh my God, do not ever throw that away," which I wouldn't do. But just a neat connection, and something. Again, I have two other children who would have no memory or connection to that Powerpuff Girls. But for my oldest, it's a neat connection between the two of us.
Well, I'm really happy that things are going good, and I'm excited to hear about some of the new stuff that you're doing. Why don't you give me one more of your favorites from the past?
So here's one. So as we mentioned earlier, ring binders may not get most people excited, but when I make a binder, they are super, super cool and memorable and amazing. So I'm strong in the spirits industry. I've always done a lot of work with alcohol companies, and you'll see them all over my social media and website just because the graphics are cool. And of course, it at least for adults, it evokes memories, some good, some bad. But anyway, it's something that everyone has a brand that they associate a memory with. So Southern Comfort and the parent company Brown-Forman, I've done a lot of cool packaging pieces for them. So again, a few years back, the Southern Comfort bottle was redesigned. Sexy, new, glamorous bottle. And what do you think of bottle? Glass, clear. It had some really cool debossing and embossing and silhouetting in the bottle. And so they needed a marketing piece, in this case, a 3-ring binder, what they call an on-premise playbook or binder, to basically talk about the brand standards and the marketing and teach their retailers how they should be, showing the brand, retailing the brand, marketing the brand. Just a lot of, it could be boring, but it's not boring when Sneller's involved. So this binder we produced, handmade, full color, silhouette of the bottle on the front, wraps all the way around the side, all of which is really, really pretty. The inside, we used a custom red with kind of a flecked speckled pattern that kind of reinforced the color of the liquid, the Southern Comfort liquid. But the really interesting part of this piece, most ring binders have tab dividers or index tabs, those little things that, kind of separate the contents. And if I'm doing them, they're not going to be boring. So they said, what would you do to make this thing different? And I said, why don't we play off of the whole idea of this marketing piece was, again, the bottle, which is clear glass, see-through. We made these index tabs out of a glass clear plastic or a see-through plastic, which does two things. One, it played off of the bottle, but it also allowed the printing, the colorful printing of all of the different pages to show through the clear plastic tabs. And finally, the tab divider, the tab extension, so the little piece that sticks off the edge that you use your fingers to turn over, instead of making that rectangular, we die cut that in the silhouette or the shape of the bottle. So a very, very unique marketing piece. You've got the clear plastic plays off the bottle, the tab extension itself. It may have never been done before until I touched this thing. Most of them are just square and boring. Is literally in the shape of the bottle, and then the binders themselves. So you put those things together, and not only do you have a beautiful marketing piece, but again, works off of all of the new branding standards, et cetera, et cetera.
And that's something that, when they're passing those binders out, that they're proud to show like, hey, this is kind of cool. And people are looking at it, when they first open that up, like, this isn't just some, boring note cards that are in here. This is kind of a neat presentation. So it helps the overall aesthetic of the presentation for your client.
Exactly.
Well, if you ever do anything for Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, and you want to send me a package of that and maybe some Screwball, I'm totally for that. I mean, that's perfectly fine with me. So
I'm on board with that too, man.
Well, Jeff, it has been a pleasure again. We'll talk again soon. I know that you're getting ready to go on vacation to one of the most beautiful places in the entire planet. I've been there as well, and I'm a little jealous that you're going up there. But you guys have a great time, and when you get back, we'll do another episode, and we'll tell everybody about some more of the cool stuff that you're doing, okay?
Can't wait, man. Appreciate you.
All right, you got it. This is Create Something Amazing with Jeff Snell from Sneller Creative Promotions. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, buddy.
This has been Create Something Amazing, a Sneller Creative podcast. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more episodes. Create Something Amazing is brought to you by Sneller Creative Promotions and produced by thepodcastproshop.com.